everybody, my God, I got a smooth guy on the channel today. Ooh, you gonna like this one so much, it's gonna blow your mind. Oh man, I'm telling you, let me tell you, I'm Anthony Brogdon, that's who I am, and I'm an ordinary guy doing something extraordinary by the people who come on the show. You gonna like this. This is a cool guy. Let me tell you how I met him. I went to a thing at this private school. It was an art gallery opening or something like that, all in the ritzy area and stuff like that. And I see this guy, him and another dude walking out with, we were walking out together. I was with my daughter, who I'm super proud of, this sister, and my son. And I said, dang, well, let me just ask this guy, because he's got an African kind of look. You know what I mean? You can kind of get a vibe, so to speak. So I said, hey, man, let me tell you, where you from? And he told me, and y'all will hear about it in a minute. I said, man, let me tell you something. I got this show called Strong Inspirations, and I would love for you to come on here to tell stories. And, you do the talking. He said, man, I'm good with that. And here we are. And so everybody hit the subscribe button on Strong Inspirations. It's free. I don't ask no, all you do is tell me that you like me. That's what it does. I'll be perfectly honest with it. And then how about this one? The other part of it is when people who are asked to come on the show, they kind of vet me, right? Man, who was this guy? And then when they see how many subscribers they got, they want to come on. So that helps me in that regard. I'm being honest with you, my artist. And then like this button. Hit the like button on this video. You're gonna like it. Good guy too. Good looking dude. He's smiling and he on point. And then hit the notifications bell for when the videos come up. You get a ding, a shock, a smoke signal. Your lights flicker. Your dog kicks you. Something happens. Your cell phone rings to let you know there is new content on Strong Inspirations. Now, it's a Women's History Month. So for every Sunday, I'm releasing a new video at 5 o'clock for women's history. And one of them is about Shirley Chisholm. Did you know that sister ran for president and won some delegates? This Black woman now, this has got to be in the 80s or something like that, long time ago. Bad sister out in the New York region. Watch that video. Did you see the one I did with the sister who talks about what Black women have been through since Africa and the trauma of that rape and all that they went through in the enslavement period and how y'all still standing? Watch that video. Did you see the one I did with the lady who integrated a high school in Gainesville, Florida? And she said the classmates tried to kill her one day and threaten her life often? Watch that video. Did you see the one I did with the sister out of London, England? How about this? She tells that she follows Black history in America and know of the story in Tulsa. And she named her bookstore in London, England, Black Wall Street. Our history resonates around the world. Everybody watches some of what happens in America. And they're watching Strong Inspirations too. And this brother right here, his topic is out of the motherland. I don't even know why they call it the dark continent. It's probably the lightest of them all. The sun is shining and all that. Oh, watch. Speaking of that sun shining, I got a video where the guy, he's in America, but he goes to Egypt often. And he says one of the things, because that sun's shining so much, the pyramids have that that glaze on them to reflect the sun. Watch that video. Now, a couple more. I'm a filmmaker, everybody. Watch my movie. It's titled Business in the Black, The Rise of Black Business in America. I'm telling you, it is good. It's about enslaved Black folks who own businesses, who went to college. And I interviewed a number of people whose family owned a business in the early 1900s. Watch this. It's on Amazon. I wrote a book about that. But so much more is in my book. It has become America's #1 Black business history book. Over 200 facts. I got 30 Black-owned businesses owned by enslaved folk who then used the money to buy their freedom. It's enslaved folk who went to college. All the Black banks and newspapers that happened in the 1800s and up through 1960. Get you a copy of this book. It is good. I promise you. Go to my website, businessintheblack.net, where you can get it autographed, or you can go to Amazon. I can't autograph the Amazon orders, but get it on Amazon. And I don't have a copy with me because I just sold out all the ones. I'm back at the printer. It's a children's book titled They Did It. And that's about 30 rich Black folks in the 1800s. So I'm not playing with you, my brothers and my sisters. And you know, my term is the word strong. That's my favorite word. Strong stands for strength, tenacity, resilience, and a sense of oneness, nobility, and grace. And that is my introduction to the Strong Soul brother on the channel today. Come on, man. Thank you for being on here.
Thank you so much, Anthony. I appreciate this opportunity.
Tell us your name.
Yeah, my name is Acheampong Johnson, and I'm currently in Detroit, Michigan.
All right, hold on. Pronounce your name again.
Acheampong. Acheampong.
How you spell that?
Acheampong.
Where are you from?
So I was born in Ghana, and I came to the United States at the age of 7 with a mom.
Okay. We're gonna get into
dive
that.
in.
Yeah, but how did they come up with that name? Is that name of nationality or culture or something like that?
So funny enough, Acheampong is actually my family name, and my dad, by way of trying to immigrate from Ghana, he went to Liberia, did his own immigration magic trick over there, and then changed our family name to be our first name and picked up the last name Johnson. So our family name essentially is actually Acheampong. Yep.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that then. I want to stay with that. What does that name resonate from? Is there some historical significance to the name?
Yeah. So the name itself means one who gives birth to a king, and it originates from the Ashanti tribe in Ghana. So that's where around where the Volta region is, and also that's my so in Ghana, when you're born, you take the tribe of your father. So it's a very patriarchal country, and in doing so, with my dad being from the Ashanti tribe and my mom being from Acheampong tribe, I will consider myself an Ashanti, which is also Ashanti in Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah.
With that said, you from that tribe, is your name? A lot of people have that name in that tribe. Is there like a Smith in America or something like that, or is it
Good
common
question.
or what?
Good question. I'll say it's common enough. It's common enough. If you go to Ghana, you will meet someone with a derivative of that name. It's coming from Acheampong or Acheampong, or so it's common enough.
Yeah. All right. You said that name meant what it means. One who's born from a king. Who said that? Is that the first guy who said that? You know what I'm saying? When they say those things, how does that originate? Can you give us? Do you know?
Good question. I honestly do not know. All I know is that when I grew up to gain some consciousness and some insight, I was able to then do my own history and look it up and ask my dad, and that was what I was told. So.
Yeah, because maybe he did it, maybe he made it up, you know. But now let me ask you this then. So, what does his father do? Your dad, your grandfather, and a little bit before your dad. What was that?
Yeah, good question. So I honestly don't know much about my grandfather from my dad's side, but what I do know is that from my mom's side, my mom's dad, my grandfather on my mom's side, he owned a farm, and he owned actually a cocoa farm back way back when. He's passed away at this moment, but growing up, I remember him telling me about his farm and how it was one of the main resources that would be exported from Ghana. So
Oh, is that
Ghana is
right?
known for their gold, and Ghana is known for their cocoa, cocoa plant being used for chocolate. Yep.
Oh, okay. That made him wealthy?
I I mean, I would like to think so. He did have a couple of acres for sure,
Oh,
and I think
okay.
now it's something that the family owns. So
Oh, really? Uh,
yeah.
I'm growing up in Ghana.
Mhm.
What's that like? Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to Africa. What
Yeah.
city did you grow up in? Did you grow up in the city, the rural area,
Mhm.
that kind of thing?
Yeah, good question. So I grew up in the capital, which is Accra. So the
Hmm.
capital of Ghana is Accra, ACCRA.
Right.
And growing up there, honestly, being of such a young age, I remember being able to get up, go to school. Granted, growing up, my family would attest to it that I was not someone that enjoyed going to school as much. I would cry and throw a tantrum. But growing up, it was more of like the village raises your the kids, right? Like you could go out, come back late at night. You knew when to come back home, right? You knew when either where you're hungry, or you heard your mom's voice, or someone older telling you you have to come back home. So it's a very communal country. It's a very communal city, especially Accra, where I grew up, and just in the area, the neighborhood that I grew up in. Yeah, like whenever there was an event, whenever there was church, we all go together. So it's a very familiar environment,
Mm.
and I didn't encounter any sense of threat, any sense of it was very safe. Going there, and even older now. The last time I was there was in 2022, I believe. And anything going there, I still love, and I take pride in the country I grew up in or was born in.
Did you grow up in a normal house from what you remember? And what's a normal
Yeah,
house kind
yeah,
of
good
thing?
question. I wanted to ask you that question. How would you define normal?
I mean, did it have like two, three bedrooms, kitchen,
Hmm.
living room, made out of brick? I don't, that kind of, like houses you'd find in Detroit, what have you.
I mean, yeah. So we do have buildings. We do have buildings made out of cement. That's most of our buildings. How it's made up is it has a firm foundation, has a firm structure. So we do have is made up with rooms and the kitchen and also living room as well, and the
Yeah,
bathroom and so forth, all in the house.
yeah.
Yeah.
And was it a neighborhood where the houses were right next door, and it was like what you might find here in Michigan or wherever in
Yeah.
America?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep. You will be adjacent to our neighbors,
yeah,
very very close, or even just sharing a fence. So yeah.
yeah. Where is the jungle and the forest and all that compared to where you grew up?
So as far as if I'm hearing like as far as like the nature side of
Yeah,
Ghana, I would say we do have a zoo in the sense of like like what you just similar to the Detroit Zoo. Like we have a zoo
sure.
in Accra, but as far as like the farming and the agricultural aspect of Ghana, I would say you have to travel a good like 3 hours, like
Okay.
north or yeah, north to the Volta region. Honestly, Ghana is rich with soil, and it's rich with agriculture. There's a lot of green in Ghana. So even in your backyard, you could definitely find a papaya fruit or an orange fruit, an orange tree growing in your backyard, a mango growing in your backyard. So it's very rich. Like you can literally just pick it up fresh and just eat it. So
Oh,
it's a
really?
very rich country to
Mhm.
where its resources are just organic and natural.
What are some of the fruit that we might not ordinarily think about?
Ooh.
Yeah,
So one of my favorite, and I still crave to this day, is something called apple custard. So it's also similar to what people would say like is like a jackfruit. I've heard it called many ways, but the way I remember growing up, for it to be called is called apple custard. So it's a green, sort of like spiky exterior, but then when you open it up, it's white and it has like black seeds, so you're able to like just pop one of those seeds in your mouth and just savor it. It's really really good.
So it's the seeds that you eat from that fruit.
It's a seed and also like the white part of the fruit. Everything like the inside of the fruit is all edible. Yeah, it's so good.
What's some of the other meals that we might not normally think about? Do you like spicy food?
So growing up, I definitely had a tolerance for spice, but having come to the United States, my spice tolerance has definitely gone down. But we do have a handful of dishes that are spicy, but there are those that are not spicy. So spice is a preference. But one of our main dishes that we do share with other countries is jollof rice, which originates from Senegal, from the Wolof people. But in just that western coast of Africa, you find different variations of just that dish alone. From Nigeria to Liberia to Ghana, you definitely find different variations of how jollof is prepared. Another famous dish that we have is called fufu, which is Fufu. You can eat that with a chicken soup. You can eat that with peanut soup. You can eat that with light soup. It's a very very delicious dish, which can be made by pounding yams, cassava, plantains, just to like, you don't have to pound it all together, but you pound it so that it becomes a dough-like dish or ball, and then you eventually eat it with the soup, with some chicken or beef or fish, however you really like it. Speaking of it right now, it's making me hungry.
Yeah, I can't imagine. What's the dynamic of the family structure? The dad and did your
Mhm.
mom work?
Yeah, so I would say Ghanaians are very entrepreneurial. Even if you work in a corporate like setting or in the government setting, like we're very entrepreneurial. So my mom did work for a short period of time. She would make loaves of bread and go out and sell it, either in our front porch, or even just go out to the market field in the streets and just sell it, sell that, or even peanuts and so forth. My dad was here in the United States, working in the Department of Transportation in New York City. So he would always support my mom back home and will visit occasionally until 2000, when he brought my mom and I to the United States. So the family dynamic is, if you're in Ghana, it is, I would say, is a patriarchal country where there's structure. However, it's one that's also very welcoming of the woman as well, working in the field, or even if they choose to, they could just be a stay-at-home mom if they wanted to. Yep.
Is the man the king in the family and all that kind of thing, and she's more of a subservient type person?
So not
Would I say?
really. I wouldn't say that. Yeah, I wouldn't say that. It's not where it's a subservient. I think majority of Ghana, I would like to say majority of Ghana has a very Christian it's a very Christian country. We do have Muslims as well there, but however, what I can say is that from a Christian standpoint, we do try to follow more of the Christian household, Christian marriage structure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What time you got to wake up in the morning and go to school and that kind of thing? Do you remember?
Yeah, so what I do remember is that like our alarm, we didn't have a manual alarm clock in a sense. I mean, granted, it does exist. But what our alarm clock would be a rooster crowing. Like just
Really?
kid you not, no matter where you are, you will hear the rooster will be a lot. Like I remember even just going back recently, like at the crack of dawn, the rooster will be out, and that'll be your alarm clock.
All right.
It's yeah, the chickens and goats will be wandering around, but it's a very for like my respectfully, it's a very simple lifestyle where like you get up at the crack of dawn, people get up, get ready for
So
work,
let me stop you
go
there.
out
Crack
and
of
so forth.
dawn, is that 5 in the morning or something like that?
6 is when you will hear like around 5 or 6 is when you will hear, yeah, you will hear that rooster crowing, or
Yeah.
just like going off. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
What time you got to go to bed?
I mean, people. So that's another. There isn't a true. There's not a curfew.
All right. All right.
Um,
All right.
so I would say there's one that like is based on your livelihood, right? If you
Yeah.
have work in
Right.
the morning, you go to bed early. However,
Right.
you can find people in the street and socializing well after 9 o'clock, and the bars will be open, restaurants will be open
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
9. Just
Sure.
people just kicking it and just
Yeah.
catching up with people. Yeah,
The, the,
it's a lovely environment.
here when I grew up, I had to be home by the street lights. Is that, do y'all have street lights on your street? And is that part
We
of?
do have street lights. Yeah, we do have street lights. And also
Okay.
the beauty about Ghana too, and also most of Africa, is that we don't have a lot of light pollution, right? So you can see the stars and the moon just very vibrant. But we do also have lamps and buildings that have lights as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, what was a school day? How did you went to school? I mean, for what you remember, because you spent most of your time in America, but you went
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
school. Did you have to wear a uniform, that kind of
Yes.
thing?
Yes. Yes. You definitely you got that right. So you had to have a uniform iron. So the beauty about Ghana, and I love the structure about it, is that the education system in there is that it was very disciplined in the sense that you definitely cannot be late or there will be there'll be more so of like your parents will hear about it, right? Like you have to be on time. You also cannot come to school with your clothes wrinkly or torn. It has to be
Oh, really?
very ironed and well kept. So growing up, like the we were in the values were instilled in us in sense of ironing, so that's still iron, like washing your dishes and cooking and so forth. So those type of things were instilled in you at a very early age, so that to where you it's in a sense disciplining you to where you can be independent and also practice proper manners growing up. Yeah.
Yeah. So your mom didn't do that for you. It wasn't like that's her job or something per se.
Oh no, no, no. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't that like strict of a role where that's your mom's
Uh,
job or your sister's job or the
yeah,
woman's job
yeah,
to iron. No,
yeah,
you would end up picking up where you needed to, whether it be like I said, washing dishes or ironing. So that's how I remember growing up in
yeah.
my household.
Where were white people? Were there any white people in your neighborhood?
Um, I mean, there are times where you see like missionaries or even those that are on vacation or family friends that work occasion, right? Or even yeah, just missionaries and just family friends that
Oh,
were
but other
from
than
like
that, it's all black pretty much.
oh yes, it's a very yeah.
All
Yes.
right. So
There
so
are
so
many people that look like us over
so
there.
you don't, so there's no, is there a form of racism among the people? One tribe racist against the other, light against dark, nothing like, there's nothing like
No,
that.
no, no. We all look alike. No, we talk
Yeah.
alike most of the time and very friendly. It's very
Yeah.
friendly.
But how about this? If a person grew up in the bush and did not grow up with wealth, middle class, could they go to college? Was there an opportunity for them to make it, or it was
So
a
I,
caste system somehow?
and I would like to differentiate the bush, right? So I'll say like those that grow up in the rural area, like the village or northern area, right? Coming down to the city or even coming to school. School is tough. You definitely got to pay school fees. It's not a entirely free education system growing up. So if your parents or your family didn't have um the means for it, you either have to learn on your own or learn from other people. So it's to this day, like I support my siblings and also my nephews and nieces with education, right? And it's something that if you don't have the means, you could either miss out. So there are a lot of very well educated men and women in Ghana, right? The idea is that there has to be an opportunity created um, from the government standpoint and also from just an opportunity created so that they could actually have they can actually practice what they've learned, right? Because
Mhm.
there's so many smart and intelligent and very talented people in Ghana, but once again, some of them don't have the opportunity in front of them as we do here in the United States that we take for granted at times. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like a public education, is almost what you're saying.
No, you definitely got exactly. You definitely got to
Oh,
pay for your school
really?
fees. Yeah, it's that's the different. I would say that's one of the stark differences there. If you can't afford it, if you can't pay for it, at times people don't go to school and pick up a trade, right? Whether it be engineering or electrician or oh yeah, but it definitely you definitely need education, and it definitely is something that you have to pay for.
I'm gonna get a couple hard ones on you. So you grew up middle class, would you say?
I would say so. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So there's your middle class. There is a higher class of people who maybe their parents, somebody was a lawyer, doctor, owned a big business,
And the
something like
government.
that,
Yep,
right?
correct.
Okay. And then there's a lower. So is there a ghetto, for lack of a better word, in your city?
How do you mean ghetto?
Lower class.
Look, so So I mean, there are those, right? That's all I'm saying. Those would be individuals that um, may not have had the opportunity to go to school, right? And they will be the ones that, like I said, they will make do with what they have, right? By being entrepreneurs, whether it be selling food or selling goods or things of that nature, just to make a living. Yep. Yeah,
Uh,
Ghanaians are hustlers. Ghanaians
okay.
are hustlers for sure. And we
Okay.
definitely we're entrepreneurs for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a drug problem there?
The drug problem, no.
I'm,
No.
I'm I'm talking about with cocaine and crack and all that kind of stuff. Not really. Oh man.
No. 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 And if like the moment like I said, like we are a very village oriented like country in the sense that it takes a village to raise the family, like the kid, right? So it's in the sense that like if you saw an auntie or one of your neighbors saw you doing something that's quote unquote frowned upon, right? They'll steer you in the right way and they would advise you. So it's not an epidemic of like drug problem, like cocaine or Adderall or
Yeah.
heroin or anything of that nature. Yeah, no,
Oh
no.
really? How about on that same note? What about crime?
So crime, from my last remember, it was not heavy. Like Ghana is definitely by far one of the safest countries in the continent of Africa.
Is
Yeah,
that right?
yeah.
Um. Uh. What is the difference in? And you've already alluded to it, but I guess I got to ask again. What's the difference between America and Ghana?
Man, I mean, one for starters, right, is from a government standpoint, also providing for the people education, right? Granted, when an individual graduates from here, there's more of a higher chance of them landing a job than it is in Ghana. So that's one of the issues that I'm hoping to solve in the near future, right? To be able to like by working with nonprofits and so forth to see how we could tackle those issues. What one nonprofit that I'm currently on a board with is Pace Ghana, and what they do is that they go to the rural parts of Ghana and build schools and also libraries, and in doing so, once the individual um, either graduates or needs to after school, they could work at the library as well and be able to help fund them and pay for them. So the idea is that I would say one of the stark differences between Ghana and America is that there's more of a high opportunity for you to land a job when you graduate in America than it is in Ghana.
Are there as many corporations in Ghana as like you would find here in America, and a lot of people own brick and mortar stores, doctors, lawyers. Is that comparable?
There are a lot of private practices for sure, right? But I wouldn't say in comparison to America that would be like comparing, I don't know, like a rocket ship to a car, right? It's hard to really compare
Oh,
the
okay.
two, right? So America's far advanced for sure, but as far as I would say regarding talent, there are a handful of individuals not handful, there are a lot of individuals in Ghana that are very talented that, like I said, when they graduate, they don't have an opportunity to land a job, which is one of the growing problems in Ghana for sure.
They don't have
So
an
there are
opportunity to land a job because there is less jobs that they couldn't land.
there's less jobs, right? There's less jobs, whether it be in their field that they went to practice in. So that's why there's a high demand for like even in the medical field, right? Like those that end up going to school for medicine, and then all of a sudden there's not like either the hospital is there's over capacity with their nurses and doctors there, right? So there's not many opportunities for someone that's going in that field to get an opportunity, like to be a doctor or a nurse
Yeah.
in the medical field. Yeah.
We,
They have the practice.
yeah, you jamming.
Yeah.
What about the clothes? Did you wear American like shirts like you have on now, or did you every now and then on special occasions wear African garb? What's that look like?
Yeah, I mean, for traditional events, wedding, funeral, even I would say I wouldn't say even traditional, but even to church at times. Like, yeah, Ghanaians know how to dress. We're very fashionable. We wear our kente cloth. We wear our materials. There's another form of trade that's there is also seamstress and tailors, who that's one of those things that one of those trades that individuals lean on heavily when it comes to finding the right fabric. You find a fabric, you take it to a seamstress or a tailor. They're able to put together a nice outfit for you. But to your point, like walking around in your day to day, doing house chores, going grocery shopping, yeah, you can throw on a t-shirt and some pants, right? But as far as like when it comes down to parties, when it comes down to church or special events, all right, Ghanaians definitely, I would say, have a great sense of style.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna take liberties here. When I saw you, you were sharply dressed, and I'm sure you always
Appreciate
are.
that.
So in Africa, a sharply dressed guy, the material, the workmanship,
Mm.
uh, the shoes, are there like designer clothes in Ghana?
Oh yeah, they're designer clothes, and also there are those that are fashion, um, how you say, in the fashion industry in Ghana, they're also starting their own businesses in that field, right? So there are those that are making a name for themselves, and also they're the of course the Gucci's are highly valued over there as well.
Oh,
Louis
really?
Vuittons are highly
Oh,
valued. Yeah,
okay,
yeah. So
okay.
they it transcends culture. Like
Yeah.
people know if you have a Prada on or a Louis Vuitton on, they're like, yeah, like that person has money. But also if there's a fashion how do you say it? A designer, a Ghanaian designer there that's also making a name for themselves, they also know word gets around as well too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see American TV growing up?
Oh man, many. So it's funny because growing up, I remember watching Captain Planet. I remember watching
Captain
Knight
Planet?
Rider. Yeah, I know. And that was like in the 1994,
Yeah,
96, 97 area.
yeah,
Watching man, the 18. But it's funny because
yeah.
my version of my growing up of those like shows comes to here talking about it with people my age, they don't know.
Yeah, I never
Granted, things
heard of
are
it.
quite.
The 18, that's what the
Wait,
guy
Mr.
with the
T.
chains, right?
Yeah, Mr. T.
Yeah,
Yeah, with the
Mr. T.
mohawk and
Okay, I knew
everything.
that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it's like I remember that time and Power Rangers as well. I remember that time when I like people my age, in Ghana were watching those type of shows, because of due to the satellite, due to the antenna, we were able to get like the satellite dish, we were able to get those shows. But while people here were also like people around my age were watching, I don't know, like Rugrats or different other shows, like right. But I would say due to that, like I don't know how it is now. I'm sure now they're able to get a lot of streaming services and watch more current and up to date age appropriate shows. But yeah, we were able to get a lot of American shows. We also had a Ghanaian shows. There are Ghanaian actors and actresses that are in theater and into music and in the art industry. Yeah.
Mm. So there were shows that were produced, and I know the answer is yes, but there were shows that you might want to watch that was about somebody from Ghana producing this
Hmm.
show. It was a series like a Cosby show. Was there
Yep.
any? There was
Yep.
something like that.
We had that. Yep.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
And those came on in the evening, just like it would here in America, so the people could watch it. It wasn't during the daytime.
I mean, nowadays, like with YouTube, like things are more like streamlined, right? People like Ghanaians
Mhm.
will be able to record their own shows and upload it on YouTube, or even record it and sell it in a with a DVD or whatever it may be. Or
Mhm.
but yeah, growing up, it was of course in that timely manner before the streaming services were big, but
Mhm.
um, but
Mhm.
now it's pretty much on 24/7. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What kind of music you like? Or is there music out of Ghana? A
Oh,
style?
of
Is
course.
it got a different kind of
Yeah.
name? What's that called? Yeah.
Yeah, so in Ghana we have many genres, right? From gospel to Christian to high life, which I believe is a Ghanaian genre. It's like R&B slash like pop, like in a way it's but it's Ghanaian songs. Like it would be about like romance and just life.
Yeah.
And then there's also hip life, which is also like as a mix of like hip hop and like rap as well, but it was like a Ghanaian genre as well. But now, as you know, Afrobeat has taken the world by storm. So
Okay.
there's some Afrobeat songs that are coming from Ghana, Nigeria, and neighboring countries.
Okay.
That's also taken like allowing it's transcending cultures. So even though people in America may not understand the language, they're able to still enjoy it due to how it makes them feel and just the vibe, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, Ghana just has rap. There's also rappers in Ghana that are coming out that have been out for a while. Sarkodie, Black Sharif, right? So there's a lot of them. You know, one of my cousins is also a rapper that's also trying to make a name of himself as well too.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah,
Uh, I know you were young going when you left, so maybe you got to reflect on some of these questions. Or like after work on Friday, did y'all everybody kind of go to the bar for happy hour
man.
and stuff like that?
I mean, I want to. Yeah, there would be the bar scene. There would be a restaurant scene. There's like a open mic scene where people are playing like going there for poetry, going there for just like do karaoke or just do a cover of a song. Like Ghana is fun, man. Like honestly, just thinking about it, like I
Yeah,
can't wait till the next time I go again because it's just it's a great time in Ghana.
yeah,
There's no nonsense. There's no trouble. Like you just go have a good time with your neighbors and meet people.
yeah.
Food is delicious. Um, and like I said, like you can stay out to like morning time. Like I've seen, I haven't done this personally yet, but on my social media platform, I'm able to see individuals that have visited Ghana around the December time frame, and just like throughout because December is one of those like busy time for traveling to Africa, and also to probably other countries as well. But in Ghana and Nigeria, it's one of the busiest times. But I've seen people say that they party from like 6 p.m. all the way to like 7 a.m. And I'm like, this is insane. Like I don't know
Oh,
if I
okay,
have I don't know
okay,
if I have the capacity to do that myself, but
yeah.
Ghana, that's how exciting Ghana is. Like people just want to have a good time and just yeah, just
Oh,
be
okay. So
safe.
it's not like the
Yeah.
bars is okay. How would this? What would you compare Ghana to in America? Is it like a New York or I mean Accra? Is it like a New York, a Detroit, Chicago?
That's a good question, actually. If I had to compare, I can't see anything, but if I had to compare it, I would probably say it's more of a like a Chicago slash Atlanta vibe. I've
Okay.
been to Atlanta and Chicago, and like the way Atlanta is in the summertime, it's pretty nice.
Oh,
But it
okay.
also
I
has
got you.
much of a slower pace of Chicago, but still fast at the same time. So I
Oh,
wouldn't say
okay.
New York yet, because New York I could compare that to like Lagos, because I keep hearing that New York City, Manhattan is like compared to Lagos, but at like on steroids. So
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Did you would a person who lived in Accra go where to vacation?
that's a good question. Like In Ghana or just like outside of Ghana?
Anywhere, yeah. Is there like
Anywhere?
is there a resort town that a lot of black people go? You know how here in Michigan we might go I don't know, to Idlewild or you know what I'm saying? Is there places that like the black folks go yeah, to vacation, resort towns? Do you know anything like that?
I mean, there are some like I said in the Volta region. There's some or I mean like Cape Coast, like by the coastal areas. There are people that
Okay.
would just say that they just go in there just to have fun. Yeah, Cape Coast. Um, there and honestly nowadays like Ghana is thriving. So there are many properties that are being go that are going up for sale. Lots that are going up for sale by the coastal area,
Okay.
and also like some of those some of the isles are also like you could find some properties there, right?
Okay.
So, but to answer your question, I would say around like Cape Coast or the Volta region area is where
Okay.
people
Okay.
will say they're probably vacation. But outside of Ghana, I would say people would say they're going to Nigeria or would
Oh,
say they're going
really?
to London or Canada because they have family members, or even the
Oh,
United States, New York,
oh,
Ohio, DC. They have people in these areas. So
oh.
yeah, Ghanaians are everywhere.
Okay.
Ghanaians are
How
everywhere
about
for sure.
so is it you got to have a passport or something to get to Nigeria from Ghana?
Yeah, you do. Yep, you do.
Okay.
You do. Yep. And I would go as far as to say you might probably need a visa too, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
But
think
it's
so.
nothing to go over there because that's your neighboring country.
It was one I would say the big brother country, yeah, for sure. It's not too far from here, from Ghana. Yep.
Yeah. What's the weather in Ghana? What you know, what's the seasons?
Yeah. So there's rain season and there's dry season, right? So we have a harmattan, which is like when it's very dusty and windy and it's like there's like a lot of dust going on, but then there's also the rainy season where it just rains hard. It just rains hard. But the idea of it, right? Like I said, it's a very agricultural. That's what makes our trees and leaves very green, right? So due to the two seasons that we have, right? When it rains, but it's also one of those things that it helps with our land.
Yeah.
Um, and the weather temperature wise, I would say it goes from anywhere from I'd say like low 70s to probably like high 90s
Oh, that's
at
all.
times.
Just low
Yeah,
70s.
it's not I say like on a rainy day, right? Like it's not I can't think of it going any time below like 70 because I've never seen it.
Okay.
We don't have snow, right? We don't have we don't have snow, so it's I would say pretty much just spring and summer. Those are
Oh,
the
well,
seasons that we may have.
when is the different seasons? What months?
Good question. I don't know. I can't think of it off the top of my head right now, but I would say like, yeah, I can't think of it off the top of my head. I would have to look at it and come back to you.
Yeah, yeah,
But
like is April through something the rainy
yeah, I would say
season.
like around like June, July, August time to like December will be a Hamilton season, and then um January to probably like May. It will
Yeah.
be like the most like rainy slash like yeah
Oh, okay.
cool season. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, you know, some more what's the what does it look like? Are there mountains? Is it on the coast?
Yeah, there's all plains in Ghana, right? There's all plains. So there are some mountains that you'll be able to see from a distance, and then there definitely so we're on the coastal area. Our original name was Gold Coast because we were by the coastal area, and also on top of that, one of our natural resources that came out of it was or high commodities were was gold, right? Um, yeah, it's while we're by the coast, we still get the fresh that breeze from the ocean. Um, but also there are parts of Ghana that is also hilly, and there are parts of it where there's also plain as well. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
all parts of it, all plains.
Yeah. We're gonna go into the African, the Black history component in a minute. So now, like where you lived, could you walk to the coast, to the beach line, to the
No, not where
ocean?
I live. Definitely not where I live.
Yeah, yeah. So
Definitely, I
it's
would have to drive. It's a drive away, but still not a long drive, but it's still a drive away for sure.
yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Uh,
Yeah.
let's talk about some history for a minute. Did they teach you any Black history? African Black history?
So I'm sure it's being taught now, but me growing up, I remember hearing more of a Ghanaian history, right? At a young age, but once again, I came here when I was 7,
Mhm.
so I can't really speak. But like I said, I would like to think that there's more of a cultural awareness or around us in Ghana to introduce that in our education system. Yeah.
Who colonized Ghana?
The British, the British. So
Okay.
originally, Portugal came, like probably in 1800s or so, probably way before that. And then, like I said, that they were the ones that gave us the Gold Coast name. But then eventually, the English, the British came and colonized us, and then we were the first sub-Saharan country to be independent from the British Empire.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, the very first sub-Saharan country.
How
Yep.
did they get their independence?
We so I would say our great empress Yasantua stood up and fought. She was a woman.
I
She
heard about
fought.
her. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She gathered a group of army group of Ghanaian civilians together to fight for our independence for sure. And also and then came Kwame Nkrumah, who was our first president, um, and he was also able to empower us and essentially motivate us as a nation to um, keep moving forward. One of his motto is "Forward ever, backwards never." So that's one of his great speeches that he left behind.
So did they capture Canadians for slavery and bring them
So
to
the
America?
the demonym for Ghana is Ghanaians, right? Ghanaians,
Ghanaian. Okay.
Ghanaian. Yep. So yes, the Ghanaians, some Ghanaians were enslaved. If you go to Cape Coast, you will be able to see at the Elmina Castle, you will see some cannons, and you see the castle in which where it's a very heavy place. Many people have gone there and have like bawled, like just cried, and it's a heavy spirit, like it's a very heavy presence there. So you see like the jail cells and the quote unquote cages, right? Where they were enslaved, put the enslaved Ghanaians in there, because it's also by the coast, like I said. So
Yeah.
that was a so they would put them in there, put them on a block or put them on the ship and
Is that the door of
ship
no
them off.
return?
Yes, yeah, yep, yep.
So when you were a kid, or yeah, maybe you might not, did they teach that? Is that something that you might have gone to say, I see it, there it
Like a field
is.
trip.
Yeah,
Like I said, I
yeah, he left so
being at
young.
7, it
Yeah,
was too young,
yeah,
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 but it was something that like family, friends, family members would talk about, right? Like it's in our history.
yeah,
It's
right,
not it's
right.
something that we haven't forgotten, right? It's not something that we take lightly, but like I said, to be those are things that like drove our independence, right? Like knowing that this should not happen. We can't keep we shouldn't allow this to happen is
Yeah.
what allowed us to stand up for ourselves and liberate ourselves. Yeah.
When just a few more. When you could you imagine that there is somebody in your family that was captured, enslaved, and is now in America? Is that something that people look for or something like that?
I personally have not looked for that, right? I haven't, but now that you say it's a possibility, right? Could
Yeah,
be some possibility down my lineage or my lineage, however you want to go about it. That there could be, but it's a high chance of it, right? Like many of African Americans, brothers and sisters here or around the world, either came from Ghana, Nigeria, the coastal area, or even parts of Africa,
yeah,
um, all around the world, right? And we're just scattered,
yeah,
in
sure.
that aspect. So it's a now you say, like I said, it's a heavy topic, but it's one of those things that I wouldn't rule it out that we do have family members elsewhere. So that's why I like to think, I like to believe that we have to love on each other, respect one another, right? Because we are family. We are tied,
Yeah,
one way or
yeah,
another. You could have been a neighbor, you could have been a family member, you could have been, a friend, right? It's just we're all one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just a few more. Do you have brothers and sisters?
I do. Yep,
Okay.
they're in Ghana. I do have one here in the States, but most of them are in Ghana.
Oh, really? Uh, how did they look at you for not you in particular, but for your dad when he left? Was that
Mm,
we upset you leaving? You know what I mean? Or you should be
mm,
here to fight the fight and make the country better with us? What's
mm.
that dynamic? Can you imagine?
I mean, they've been respectful. They've been nice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't I haven't heard anything like that, right? They'll be checking on each other every now and then. If they need help or support, we're here to help and support, right? We have helped and support. Many times we
Yeah.
continue to help and support
Yeah.
them where they need, whether it be for medical bills, school fees, food, whatever it may be. So yeah, but we're also trying to help them come here in the United States as well to see
Oh, really?
America, right? So through the immigration process, yeah.
Do most people want to move here to America?
I mean, for more opportunity, right? Like granted, like there's
Oh,
opportunity in Ghana, but like as I mentioned earlier, when you graduate and all, like there's not much, right? It's very scarce. But here in America, there's an abundance of opportunity. Like you can make it's a lot easier to make it here in the United States than it is in Ghana, for sure.
oh.
Yeah.
To move here, is it more to it than, just a plane ticket to get here and you got some place to stay and then all of a sudden, or is there some legal stuff, paperwork, that kind of thing that has to happen, I guess?
Absolutely. So there is a lot of paperwork that goes into it, to apply for a visa, to come to the United States, or even to apply for, um, yeah, to go through the whole process of immigration. It's a lot.
Yeah, oh,
Like
okay.
to give you context, like my siblings haven't applied. My dad applied for my siblings. I'll say it's in 20 since 2005, and we're still here, right? And
Oh,
we've gone
really?
through many situations. There's been a couple of denials. There's been a couple of like different administrations that come into the office. Does hinder that process a bit,
Oh,
right?
really?
So if how America um, votes helps or doesn't based on when it comes to immigration policy, when it comes to immigration. So
Oh, really? So it's
yeah.
not so, but I mean, like your sister, brother who lives there, they can get a plane ticket and just come, can't they?
But don't need a visa, right? They can't just come.
Oh,
They'll need a visa.
really?
Yeah, even for you, if you're going to Ghana, like you need a visa, right? Yep, yep.
No. But do they sneak off and go to another country and then come? Or it's still not that easy?
It's not that easy.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, like even with my dad having done what he did with like in Liberia, right? Like he had to still go through a lottery system, and when he did that, he was able to then come. So there's a lottery system of like when uh, essentially like you get picked to um be called next, right? But there's also that process of just filling the form out and going
Mhm.
through an interview, and then eventually coming to the United States. So
Uh, do you wish you still lived in Africa?
honestly, I do. Like realistically, I really do. I wish I had stayed a little longer to learn more about my country. Because I like even me visiting at times, I'm like, man, like I could see myself here, and I do belong here because I was born here. But it's just one of those things that's like it's just a very different lifestyle. It's much slower. It's much more respectful, and Um, it's just like pure. It is.
Yeah.
Granted, and I'm speaking from it from like the dollar value, right? like if you're doing well in America and you go to Ghana, there's a different lens that you see it in versus someone that's living in Ghana and like having to work and like make money, like make a living for themselves, right? So that's where I want to be sensitive to the idea of like, even though I'm here, being able to go to and fro, um, it's a different lifestyle for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I got just a couple more. But because you are here, did it take something, and you were young and I guess you got indoctrinated, but does it take something to understand the hierarchy of white folks compared to black people here in America? And you don't have that in Ghana and say, I would rather be where I with my people.
Hmm.
I'm wondering how is that? Okay? I was born here, but would I rather live in Ghana or Africa? Let's say Ghana in particular, because I don't have this racism. I don't have the police beating me, so on and so forth that I got to deal with. Maybe there in Ghana, is that something that
Yeah.
I might feel?
Yeah, I mean that's absolutely true, right? Like you wouldn't experience that sort of like I would like to call it what it is. It's almost nonsensical, right? For
Really?
someone an institution or someone that's deemed to be a protector doing that towards white doing that towards black people, right? You wouldn't experience that in Ghana. Um, so it did take some time to understand what racism meant. I didn't know what it meant until I started reading up on it. Until I was taught it, in the sense like taught about the history of it, not taught racism, but taught about the history of racism and taught about the systemic issues that exist um, in the world, but mostly in the nation of America, and how that's hindering people that look like people that look like me, right?
Yeah. That's one more I know for the time. So when you got here, you were 7, and you knew Ghana, and you understood blackness and black pride, and then you came to America, and all of a sudden you said, "Hey, we don't have that same pride here." Did you
I
go
mean,
home one day and said, "Dad, I don't. White people ain't better than me." You look them in the eye because you're as great. You know what I mean?
so I would like to say that I I I don't say I would like to say that. I would take that back. That wasn't my experience, right? I feel like I experienced more bullying from many African Americans.
Oh, really?
um, when I came here, oh, big time, big time. I experienced more bullying from African Americans, people that actually look like me, right? Than like Caucasians. And New York is, as you know, New York is very
That's where you
diverse,
grew up in
but
New York.
I grew up in New York, exactly, New York City, the Bronx. So growing up, I was called many names, like all the names that you can think of about what they were calling people in the early 2000s, like African booty scratch and all these like derogatory names,
What's the
like
name?
monkey, and
African
so
booty scratch?
it was just a horrible
Oh, really?
derogatory name. But
Oh,
yeah,
really?
it was pretty bad. Like growing up, I remember being like bullied to where I would fight in school and get in trouble, and I would cry, and I would just leave school in the middle of the day because people were just like African Americans were bullying me and calling me names and
Because you're African.
because I was African and calling me ugly, calling me monkey. And I remember my mom also encountering that from some African Americans as well, and saying that like
Really?
it should look like a monkey. I was like, dang, like, but that's what I'm saying. That's crazy because now it's like it's almost like cool to be African. It was faux
Yeah,
pas like
right.
back then. It was like taboo back then. But then I guess there wasn't a true education around it. And if there was, only very few people knew. But then now it's like this like this realization or this almost renaissance of like how or it's almost like it's cool to say you're African or went to Africa versus when it was in like early 2000s. At least for me. Well, I'm
Hmm.
sure it continued. It was existed prior to that, but for me, when I came in the States, it was brutal. It was brutal. I remember
Mm.
this very, very well. When it's like after this wave of like the Black Panther, the movie came out and you go like African Americans going to the theater dressed up in African garments. I'm like, wow, like just a couple of years ago, it didn't feel like that, right? So yeah.
Mm. Oh man. But you spoke English when you first got here though, didn't you?
I did speak English, but I also did speak my native language, which is Tree. Or another word for is Akan, Akan. Yeah.
Oh. What would you like people to know about living in Africa? If
Yeah.
in the sentence, you say, hey, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. It's hard to capture in a sentence, but if I had to come up with one, I would say Ghana is rich, Ghana is beautiful, and Ghana is fantastic. All those with commas. That would
Mhm.
be my sentence.
Yeah. Hey man, thank you so very much for coming on Strong Inspirations, brother.
I appreciate you.
I'm trying to get to Africa. I've been to
Please do,
Europe
please do. We welcome
and
you.
yeah, I gotta get there, and I think I got
Yeah,
something. I got a way to make it happen this year.
do it.
Um, I appreciate you, and this is what we do here, Strong Inspirations. We find
Appreciate you.
people who they give it to you straight, no chaser. You can feel the passion
Love that.
because I understood, and that had to hurt when you came here, and it was the black people that was messing with you.
Man, oh yeah, it was pretty it was pretty brutal. It was pretty brutal. Like I mean, it's still one of those like traumatizing moments where it's still I've forgotten, I've forgiven, right?
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
not. It was something that I've lived through, and I could say that many of my immigrant friends and family members have encountered that as well too, right? But we've come a long way as an
Uh,
African American community for sure.
yeah. How did you get to Michigan? Yeah, job, school, what have you?
Yeah, so it's through by way of job.
Okay.
I was after I graduated, I was offered an opportunity at General Motors, and that that's what brought me to Michigan.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome, man.
Thank you.
Everybody hit the subscribe button on Strong Inspirations. Hit the like button on this video. You felt that passion. Hit the notifications bell for when the video come up. Tell somebody about us, everyone. And to you, go to, you got a website? I mean, you said there's an organization. Is that something that we here can help you do what you do?
Yeah. So it's called Pace Ghana, PACE, Ghana.org. So if you were to Google it, if you were to put it in your browser, you would be able to land on that page for Pace Ghana. So what they do is PACE stands for people in cultural enrichment. So what they do is essentially build schools and also build libraries in rural parts of Ghana to support the community. So the last place that we built a school and a library was in Rara. And then now we're working on a whole project for solar panels to be put into schools and communities as well.
Are they Michigan based? Are they international? Or...
So it is so our the organization is based in Syracuse, but
Oh, okay.
however, it was started by a Lemoyne alum. I also went to Lemoyne College. A Lemoyne alum named Kofi Adai, who currently works for Syracuse University in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's something we can do. And
Oh, for sure.
I'm
Yep.
sure there's an opportunity to donate money to
Yes.
the
On the website.
effort, that kind of thing. Okay,
Yeah.
cool, cool. Thank you again. Everybody, I say this to you, my brother, and I mean this with all sincerity. I want you to stay strong, stay safe, stay on your grind. I love how you have come through all
Thank
that
you.
you come through.
Thank you.
That you through that New York experience. Them black people, they just see it's innate in people to find something different about somebody else. That's why racism is not going away, and it's innate. So we do that just to have something to say.
Mm.
They didn't think that about you. Good looking guy. You know what I mean? You
Mm.
got all the girls and all that other
Thank you
stuff.
very
They
much.
they was jealous. That's what it was.
Thank
You
you
come
very
in here,
much.
you all sharp and stuff and talking all proper, and they, oh man, we got to come up with something on this guy.
Man.
And that's human nature. And so that's the way it goes. How about this?
Appreciate you.
One more. Can you close this out saying goodbye or something in your native language?
That's a good one. Okay. Anthony Medasapa, Yamin Shah. Bye.
I love
So what
it.
I said is Anthony. I said, Anthony, may God bless you. Thank you so much. And I said, bye.
All right, I love it. Bye-bye, we out. Thank you.
Bye.